GM friends, and thanks for joining DeFi-Logic's TA Tuesday every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. As a member of DeFi-Logic server, you can join our call every week, request chart reviews, and discuss the charts in real time. Check out the link in the video description below. In today's community call, we will review charts for Tron, OX Leverage, Blockchain Bets, Avalanche, BNB Smart Chain, BVOL chart, and for legacy markets, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow Jones 30, Dollar Index, and finally, the U.S. 10-year chart. And with that, off to you, Eddie.
Okay. I wanted to skip Bitcoin, Ethereum in total this week instead of going over it like we do every week, just because it's chopping. We're still basically looking for the same stuff. However, instead of going lower, we could go higher. It's just so choppy. I'm waiting for dollar to give me confirmation as far as if it's done going up or if it's ready to retrace. And you can tell by that, like, our space is doing nothing. When you look at the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index, it's at like record lows right now, like some all-time low levels, and we're just doing nothing. So look at the Bitcoin and Ethereum and total market cap charts yourself on the daily, refer to old videos. Nothing new's happened. So let's just move on from that. And instead let's go at TRX first. So TRX Tron, formerly Huobi, was hacked yesterday for 5,000 Ethereum. Justin said he'll cover the losses. What a nice guy. Who knows what's going on? I saw Cochran tweet something about it and see if there's something that we can do with this. So it's actually pretty bullish. It is at resistance. See if daily gives something better. TRX is one of those coins that personally I have a hard time trading. I don't know if it's just like the Justin Tron like bots on it or just designed to steal your money or what, but I've always had a hard time trading this coin. So we are into like a level of resistance, like I was saying. We're just chilling under it. So if it starts to flip this level, you can look for bullish setups. But until then, I would wait on that unless we get some sort of dip. Oh my gosh, since we're at resistance, you want to be looking for shorts. Probably use this low as my market structure. So get some closes below that. You can start to aim for this support region. Be a pretty decent move. Like I was saying a bit ago, I think dollar could be looking for a retracement. And if dollar starts to go down, you have to expect risk assets like crypto to start going up. I would maybe look potentially for a breakout, or if you can just get a dip lower, you can maybe start looking for something bullish just in this region. Dips down to here with the hard stop of losing these lows. Because once we lose those lows, then this scenario is in place where we're going to go down here, right? So those are the two plans for now, is potentially the breakout plan, which is probably low probability in the current environment. Some sort of dip down into here, or it loses it and goes lower. That's TRX. Wanted to look also at OX Leverage. I think that this coin is pretty interesting. So it's a Telegram trading bot, which is on queue with all the meta, but it's a decentralized leverage trading. It's got a bunch of other features as well too, but I think it sounds like a really interesting project. Now, the way that I've been viewing these low caps lately is if you don't get in on the launch or the first couple like pushes up, you have to be careful that you're not buying the top for it to go down. So it's tough because like in bullish conditions, I'd be buying this consolidation and looking for higher, but you have to also be aware of the market environment you're in, which is not that. So I'm just going to be watching it for now. I wanted to buy this. I missed this dip yesterday, which was sad because it came into such a nice area. I need to just make favorites on Dex Screener because I always sit here looking for my boxes and stuff afterwards. I can never find them. There it is. So it's a shame that I missed that, but you got some sort of a pump out of it, but nothing really too spectacular. And that's just a market. Like there's not a whole lot of buying going on in this. So I'm just watching this one for now. If it starts to show bullish price action above the highs, then I'll look to buy just to try to ride it out for the next little pump that it may give, right? If not, I'll just be watching for this level to get tagged again and this level to get tagged again. If it comes all the way down to this one, I'll try to probably look for buys anywhere at the lower half of it and just get a bounce play. But you'll need to take profit, or at least that'll be my strategy. I think it's a really cool project and a really cool idea. It's just like the market there's no volume in it right now. So moving on to BSB blockchain bets. Poker went live on the platform and it's in beta testing with an upcoming UI update. So an interesting project as well. This thing has been out for a while too. So we got some important highs coming up that I imagine get tagged. So I'd be waiting for some buyers to be showing up anywhere around here. It already hit it once technically. So we had to launch the first wave, the second wave. It deviated those highs already before, came back, retested it perfectly. That's really nice if you caught that, because then it went crazy. So I wouldn't be just stepping up right away. You don't want to be the first one in line on something like this with losing volume, even though they have those updates. It's just more risky than I'd like to play it with the current environment, because it already took buyers at these levels twice. So there's a good chance that it just comes below this wick now and probably retest this level even, which you hate to see. But you got your whole double bottom action going on. So if it comes all the way down here, I think it's worth the punt at this point to just step up and buy. But I wouldn't be willing to go in right away here unless you see a big wick. And then any sort of dip back into it is when I would look to get into it. Then, or you can wait for it to get above these levels too. That's what I see on this. It's a pretty easy to read chart currently, and because there's a lot of history to it. But yeah, buyers did not care about the update, it looks like. Okay, AVAX. So I actually really liked the way this chart looked recently, and there happens to be some fundamental stuff going on with it too, which is pretty awesome. It's one of the few markets that I feel like is pretty bullish currently. And like I mentioned earlier, with dollar potentially looking for a place that it can start to reverse, I'm interested in looking for longs. I'm just waiting and being patient right now, but I am already in an AVAX long. Okay. But anyways, so subnets, a key feature of Avalanche network that allows for sovereign networks and tailored tokenomics, are being utilized in various use cases from AAA gaming to real world event ticket services. So I guess that's something new with them, but it's just starting to look, you want to be excited about things when they're bottoming out, right? All the history I have. So the reason why I was getting excited about this in the first place, I think was on the 4 hour. So we had this SFP and we were at the lows already, right? We technically haven't market structure broke it yet, but it's still looking pretty decent, like, in my opinion. I'm trying to remember exactly why I took the trade. I know it had something to do with that sweep, though. It might have been lower time frame, so let's let this load. So I think it was these lows, actually, that I was looking at getting reclaimed initially. So if you look at this, these are pretty significant. They got reclaimed with this also other SFP in here. So it's starting to look pretty bullish on the low time frames. As far as the higher time frames, if it starts to move in the direction that we want, this could be a pretty good bottom entry. It does have some work to do, but you can just put a hard stop right below yesterday's low. And you can add on dips, really. I want to say there was like a high time frame bullish divergence on it too. Okay, I think this is what it was. It was daily. You have these lows, but then you also have it going higher here. So you have a daily triple bullish divergence, which is a pretty good signal. However, the last time I had one of these was APE, and we got rugged on that. I guess it's not everything, but it's starting to look pretty decent. You'd really want to see it to start to close above here to confirm your market structure break and hopefully start taking out some of these highs. So I'm in an AVAX position. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I'm trying to look for reasons to be bullish with dollar being where it's at. BNB. So we spoke about BNB last time. Binance ended up filing for dismissal in the SEC versus Binance case, but odds of winning seem quite low. We didn't get the short level that I originally wanted, but I did end up getting short on this. I actually closed it this morning when I woke up when it reclaimed. So let me talk about, you have to be fluid with like trading, right? Because you can make a plan, but sometimes you don't get exactly what you want on your plan, and you just need to be able to adjust as you go. So originally I was wanting us to tag into this level to get short. And then I said you could flip long on it if it starts to get bullish and stop you out and aim for these areas. And it didn't quite get to as high as I wanted. So we were streaming right around here and it didn't get there, but I did end up shorting right here. So let me show you why. You can see it. So we had these highs right here, and then on the 1 hour, it zoomed in even further, which is usually what I enter on. I'll just show you guys so that hopefully somebody is learning how to get into trades with this stuff. As you can see, this was a pretty significant high. I may have even put this line on the stream. I don't remember exactly. I just remember seeing it, and it didn't get all the way to my level. So this was Monday, and then here's the pop on Tuesday. But basically what I was looking at was when it started to get below this and start to lose it, that's when I was entering into the trade. So you had a few times to get in. So right here, this is the low that created this high, and you close through it, creating a market structure break. So you would be looking for these kind of, it's like technically it's a breaker. This candle right here is one. So you could have entered that with your stop right above there. I think I missed that one, but I entered right around it. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was right around 217, 218. And then this other pop too, that was another very like kind of a signal for you to be getting in if you're waiting for your level. Like when price stops out anyone that had stop losses right here and then immediately retraces down, you want to get involved right away. So I did short this. We even got, I want to say, a daily close below where I was wanting it. I was wanting closes below this 210 area, but this morning price just reclaimed it. So I woke up like around 5 my time. So price was like right here. And basically we had the exact same setup that I looked for on longs, right? So we had this swing failure pattern on a higher time frame, but you can still see it if you can just be fluid with your eyes. So we SFP this, and then we market structure break it as well. So once I noticed that we did all that, I had to get out of the trade. It does look like it might come back down, and I may enter again if we start losing some of these. But for now, I'm just chilling. That was a pretty good trade, and we'll see what happens with BNB. Got to be careful with CZ because he's got a lot of money. He could pump this thing too. Was it a daily? No, I'm just curious to see if it actually did give one. So even on the daily, it didn't technically sweep and close above, but you just have to use your, like, I don't know, your clues. Like this is still considered a swing failure pattern when price goes below and then it starts trading above it. Just because it didn't close on the candle time frame you're looking at doesn't mean it's not that. So that was the reason why we got out. Why I got out of that short. That's all that I had for today. So let's pass this on back.
Well, Beans, thanks, Eddie. I will bring up John and on to the legacy markets.
All right, legacy markets. We're going to start out with the S&P 500, and there is a lot going on with this chart. You can see it's just been tanking last week and this week. So looking back, you'll see that I have a big M at the top because it did make that M formation. So it started out climbing. We did at the end of August. It hit a peak right here, but it didn't hit a recent peak. So that's a little bit of a bearish sign. Then it came back down to the standard deviation line, this black line right here. Then it went back up, and the 4,500 level, this black line, is not a technical line, but it's a psychological mental level. So that's why I put it in there. And it went to 45 right here back in September, middle of September, but it didn't go above the first peak. So that is bearish. And sure enough, it just went down, hit the standard deviation line. And then the key for me was that did it go below this midpoint of the M, the middle of the M, this midpoint. Sure enough, it tagged it right here on my long support diagonal line that I've had all the way back since first part of it. So it tagged that, came back up on that day, and then it's just gone down ever since. When it broke that triangle support line, the diagonal line that I had since back in May, I knew things were going to break down. There are already several signs breaking down. The first sign is going through the midpoint here, breaking that. Second one is breaking the standard deviation line. Third one is tagging the support line and then breaking this support line right here. And then boom, all the way down we go. So I'm going to show you that I don't have this on my S&P 500 chart, but I'm going to show you on my Y chart. So this has a gap that was not filled in all the way back in May. So this is the gap all the way back over here. And so I've drawn this purple triangle here. Sorry, rectangle is 424. Okay. The bottom of it is 422.92. This is a gap that has not been filled in all the way back in June. I stated this several times, is that legacy markets fill in their gaps. You look at this gap here, it was filled in. This gap here was filled in. This gap here was filled in. Okay, so we have a gap up here that's not filled in. Maybe it'll get filled in at Christmas time. Who knows? See that this gap here looks like it's going to get filled in at 424 down to 422.9. And we're entering the month of October, so I really think it's going to get filled in. I think that's what's going to happen. And we're getting close. You'll see right now we're at 425, so it's not too far away on that. So I just wanted to show this to you that these gaps do get filled in on a technical basis. All right, moving on to NASDAQ and the Dow, they're all looking the same. You'll see this M formation starting here, goes up, hits the first peak, comes down, just touches the standard deviation line right here, the black line. Doesn't really have a second peak, and then it just goes down and tanks. So it makes just like it did on the S&P 500. Let's look at the Dow Jones 30, okay? You'll really see the M here. You'll see it starting here, hits the first peak, barely crosses down deviation line, the mean, and then goes down. And then this one, actually, it did hit the same level as the first peak, and then it just tanked ever since then. So exactly, trading is not exact, but you'll see here this line actually came in pretty much level, same height. So it could have gone either way. Now, at that point in time, the Federal Reserve Bank was making their announcement, and Chairman Powell, he kept speaking during a press conference, and things just tanked while he was speaking. He was not expressing a lot of confidence that they had going on. So that's why things moved on that date and gone down ever since. Moving on to the dollar index. Dollar index keeps going up. It keeps climbing, as you can see. We have issues now. Today on economic news, the consumer confidence is at a 4-year low. So it came in at a 4-year low. First thing this morning, that was at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then we have the Case-Shilling Home Index, and the home prices have actually risen. So the consumer confidence is going down because everything's getting more and more expensive. If you haven't experienced it at the grocery store like I have, then you're lucky. But everybody's looking at inflation, and we're getting beyond a 30-year high in inflation. So the dollar index keeps going further up. And then the inflation is shown also in the U.S. 10-year yield chart. This is this chart here. So you'll see it's just ramping up. I actually should move this new peak because it's just moving up here again. We keep getting peaks. So if you look at this, the interest rate on the 10-year U.S. bond since back in June, right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 peaks in a 4-month period. So things are just going up as far as interest rates have a 30-year cycle, and we went to a 0 interest rate level 2 years ago, and even in the in Europe, they were in a negative interest rate situation. So we are in a 30-year uptrend on interest rates. So let everybody know it's not transitory. Inflation, like they said, transitory is not transitory. It's just going to keep going up. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's how the charts look. So I'll end on that bad note, unfortunately. Unless you know how to use the downside of the markets, you're making money if you do. Send it back over to you, Pepe.
Wiggins, thanks for that. And that is it for this week. Remember, as a member of DeFi-Logic, you can post requests in the Daily Dose forum. We'll review your coins, assets, and tradable proxies in the next call. Also, DeFi-Logic members interested in alpha testing our ETH spot trading indicator and new XRP strategy developed by Cryptix. The service is free until we launch. Additionally, we are almost complete with our Bitcoin strategy, so be on the lookout for that. Also, DeFi-Logic is a freemium service for members that join prior to public launch. As an early member, you'll gain free lifetime access to the server with steep discounts on other products and services we develop in the future. Thanks for joining today, and we will see you at 12 p.m. Mountain Time next Tuesday. GM friends.
Join us next week in Discord for TA Tuesday at DeFiLogic.com.